Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy, and welcome back to The Last Lap. In today's video, we have a lot to break down after the new Atlanta quote-unquote Superspeedway race that just went down. We'll talk about all of that, everything you guys need to know, who won the race, the package, the next-gen car, everything. But before we hop into it, just want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button and that like button. It really does go a long way, and we would greatly appreciate it if you did that. And as always, I have my friend and co-host Matthew joining me on the show, and he's repping some new gear. He's repping some, I think that's Kevin Harvick Mobile One shirt maybe that he has on. But Matthew, how's it feel to be back and picking up some fresh gear while you're at it?
Well, first of all, I don't know if you're reading the screen right, but this is not a Kevin Harvick Pit Crew shirt. This is a actual Kyle Busch Motorsport Pit Crew shirt, which is Mobile One, the Ford truck. It's from 2019 because it says Gander Outdoors on here. But yeah, I went to Kyle Busch Motorsports this weekend, which was fun. I got to see his 2015 championship car, his two Bristol sweep sets, his 200th win. It was amazing to see in person, and I've never been there before, surprisingly, so that was fun. Also got to see all the trucks that they're building in the garage, which includes Kyle Busch's truck that he'll be racing this weekend at Circuit of the Americas, so I got a little sneak preview of that. But it was really fun, and yeah, it was a great racing this weekend.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to go down there and get some Kyle Busch Motorsports gear. I need to get down to Charlotte eventually and go to all the shops down there too. So hopefully I can do that someday. But I'm glad you were able to experience that. Very quickly, we'll hop into the Xfinity and truck recaps for the truck series. It was weird because it was a KBM 1, 2, 3 coming to the white flag, but John Hunter Nemechek was actually a lap down. He was in third, and Chandler Smith is in the lead. Corey Heim is in second. John Hunter Nemechek was the third truck in line, I believe. And Corey Heim made a move, and John Hunter Nemechek went with him instead of Chandler Smith and ended up pushing Corey Heim to the win. So, a little bit of a controversial finish there between KBM, but it was cool to see Corey Heim get his first Truck Series wins. Chandler Smith obviously a little upset, but it's the last lap, and John Hunter Nemechek had to pick between two of his teammates, and he went with Corey Heim. So that's what ended up happening there. And the Xfinity Series race also came down to a last lap pass, and it was Ty Gibbs passing none other than Ryan Sieg, who they got into it a few weeks ago at Las Vegas. But Ty Gibbs made a move going down into turn one, pretty much the same thing as the truck race. He made a move going into turn one, pulled up in front of Ryan Sieg, and was able to hold on and get the win. His second win of the season this so far in the Xfinity Series. So yeah, that wraps up the truck and Xfinity races really quick. Matthew, what do you got to say about them before we hop into the Cup race?
Well, for the truck race, that was kind of... I didn't see the Xfinity race because I was actually at a Charlotte Hornets basketball game during that time, but I saw the truck and the Cup race. The truck race, it wasn't really that good, to be honest. I heard the Xfinity race was better than the truck race, and I'm glad Corey Heim got his first win, and he's another KBM future prospect right there out of KBM University, like they said before. And then as for Xfinity, Ty Gibbs, from what I've heard, didn't dominate the race or didn't lead a lot of laps, but he was there when it counted. Future NASCAR right there, like I've been saying. That's another win right there. He's gonna win more races, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay, so time to hop into the Cup race now. And going into the, after the Truck and Xfinity race, I think everybody had a feeling that this was going to be like a Super Speedway race because that's what the Truck and Xfinity Series did. So we kind of went into Sunday with an open mind thinking this was going to be a Super Speedway race, and that's pretty much exactly what we got to a certain extent. But while the lead, a few Chevys had some problems while they were in the lead. Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick, and Ricky Stenhouse, they were all leading at one point in the race, and the right rear tire blew and they spun out, and some of them collected a few cars in it, some of them didn't. Ross Chastain was actually able to rally back. Tyler Reddick, He collected a bunch of drivers like Michael McDowell, Joey Logano, Alex Bowman, Harrison Burton, Kurt Busch, Kyle Larson, Austin Cindric, Corey LaJoie, Denny Hamlin, and Ryan Blaney. So that was probably the biggest wreck of the day, unfortunately, due to a blown tire by Tyler Reddick. And then Stenhouse blew a tire as well, and unfortunately got Austin Cindric, Eric Jones, and Kevin Harvick involved. Goodyear did take those tires and quickly look at them, and it was, like they said, it was nothing to do with them. The wear was fine, so it was probably because the Chevy teams had more, whatever it's called, in the right rear, and that caused them to explode, unfortunately. So tough break for those Chevys. Austin Dillon had an incident where he got loose, came up into Kyle Busch. Both of them hit the wall. That pretty much ended both of their days, unfortunately. Ty Dillon was also involved in that. William Byron won the first stage. Heading into the second stage, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson got together. That ended stage 2. That ended both of their days as well. Larson actually spun into Chase Elliott and bounced off of Chase Elliott and went back into the outside wall. So that was a very close call for me. I was a little bit anxious to see what would happen with Chase's car, but Larson hit him thankfully in the door and not really the front or the back of the car, so that, I guess, made it so the damage wasn't terrible. But Larson and Denny were pretty much done there. And Ryan Blaney won the stage. That was the end of that stage. And then there was a debris caution with about 70 laps to go. Everybody came in and pitted, and everybody thought that they could make it with fuel to the end. It was going to be a little bit of a stretch. But after that pit stop, they got single file pretty quick for probably fuel conservation mode, because a lot of drivers were saving just to try and make sure they had enough fuel to get to the end, and then maybe a few overtime restarts if they needed to. So William Byron and Bubba Wallace were at the front of that freight train it probably went on for 30 or 40 laps, and then the cautions start coming. The first one was 25 laps ago. Todd Gilliland and Cody Ware were involved. Cody Ware had a pretty hard hit, so I'm glad that he's okay. That was a rough accident for him. And then that sparked another accident. Ross Chastain ended up spinning Eric Almirola on the front stretch. And then there was a restart with 13 laps to go. William Byron and Bubba Wallace still at the front of the field at this point. Byron and Bubba were obviously in opposite lanes. And then coming to the white flag, so after that restart with 13 laps to go, Bubba actually got to the lead, and then Byron passed him back. And then coming to the white flag, Bubba Wallace and Ross Chastain are trying to make moves behind Byron, and that pretty much allowed him to stay in front of the field without anybody being able to lean back to the car behind him and get a big run to accelerate to pass him. So that helped William Byron stay out front. Christopher Bell went below the double yellow line, the double line, the red and white line, and unfortunately that cost him a chance of finishing second. He had to be put at the end of the field, but nobody was able to catch William Byron. He was able to get the win, his first of this season. So congrats to William Byron on getting the win. This race had 46 lead changes among 20 drivers. So just think about that. Half of the drivers in the field, more than half, I think, because there weren't 40 cars in the field, more than half of the field led a lap today. So that's just incredible. That's what this Superspeedway style racing does. So really quick for William Byron, I want to say, obviously, congratulations to him for winning. Hopefully this sparks the year that he can get multiple wins, because past 2 seasons he's only had 1 win. Last year I know he was very consistent, had 10 straight top 10s, including that win at Homestead last year. I know he was fast all year long, just a little bit of bad luck, especially in the playoffs. He was running good. So hopefully this sparks that year where William Byron can get multiple wins. That's the only main concern I have for him, but I think he's more than capable of doing it. Maybe just a little bit of luck needs to fall his way so he can get 2 or 3 wins this season. And as for the next-gen car in the pack racing at Atlanta, I think the general consensus in the NASCAR community is that, yes, the reconfiguration did its job. It promoted pack racing. That's what we got, and it was a great race overall. But we don't want to see every single mile and a half like this. I think we still need some normalcy in NASCAR, and that includes mile and a half tracks and mile and a half races that might be, I don't want to say boring, but less entertaining than what we saw on Sunday. So I think everybody in the NASCAR community, like, this is good. Like, we don't need any other mile and a halves converted like this, but SMI owns Texas, Las Vegas, several other tracks that I don't know that you probably know. But yeah, I don't think anybody wants to see more of this. I think we're good with what we have now. The track did its job. It put on a great show, and like we don't need any more mile and a halves being converted like this. We need some normalcy in NASCAR. So that's my quick thoughts about the race and the package and the super speedway style racing and all of that fun stuff. So Matthew, go ahead and tell everybody what you think about the results of the race, the pack racing, all that kind of stuff. Go ahead and tell us what you think.
Well, coming into this race, I thought that it was going to be an absolute disaster. That's what I predicted, because I didn't think super speedway racing would work in a mile and a half, a track way smaller than Daytona and Talladega. But to be honest, I'm wrong. It was actually really, really great. I mean, it was basically, they achieved what they wanted, a super speedway and a mile and a half, pack racing. So they got that done, and I got applaud for them for that one. It was really amazing racing. And for anyone that still says it's not good, I mean, come on. If you look at the past few Atlanta races, you really think those are better than what we got on Sunday? I don't think so. So I enjoyed what I saw. I love, all those lead changes that we had. It was great to see William Byron win, especially in the Liberty University colors. We did not make it to March Madness this year, and that was disappointing. But we still made it in the victory lane in March, so that makes up for it. But man, it was amazing racing. I'm not going to talk too much about Kyle Busch's incident because Kyle Busch is just not good at super speedways. So it's just that's just how it is. But yeah, it was great. How about Corey LaJoy finished top 5 for Spire Motorsports, his best finish, which is great to see for that small team. The Trackhouse is still looking strong with Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez up front for most of this race, even with Ross Chastain hitting the wall. My only thing is, this race was really too long, in my opinion. They needed to shorten the laps. I know it's smaller than Daytona, Talladega is going to have more laps, but that is way too many laps for a super speedway, in my opinion. They need to condense this race a little bit. That's my only thing. That last lap was, even though I love William Byron winning, it was still painful to watch, in my opinion, because that second, third place car is so stubborn. I mean, the leader's by himself. He's got no help. I mean, all you have to do is just push somebody if you want to have a shot to win. But they always just give the win away to whoever's in first because they want to get second or third instead. That's just what frustrates me a little bit. But it is what it is. I'm happy for William Byron. I think he's going to win more races this year than he has any other season. And I can't wait to see how he does. But yeah, this is the only track that needs to be a mile and a half super speedway. We don't need to see anywhere else. In my opinion, they should have done this idea to Texas, since I consider that track already dead, in my opinion. They might as well should have just done that track, but it's fine for Atlanta, but don't do it for any other mile and a half, please. I mean, you could get rid of Texas if you want. You can turn one of them into a short track. Just don't make more super speedways. That's it. We need a variety. We need super speedways. We need road courses, mile and a half, and short tracks. And what we need now is more short tracks, since we got more super speedways and road courses now. So yeah, that's my opinion. Is I love the race, and yeah, I exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, I think, we're good where we're at with super speedways. Now we need some short tracks. Hopefully we can get that situated in the next few years. I still think Bristol should have 2 individual races, both not on dirt, and do a dirt track somewhere else. But I'll circle back around to that
the thing.
another
No one
day.
was showing up to that spring race, so they had to do something.
Yeah, I'll circle that. I'll die on that hill.
Just look at the crowds back then. No one was showing up to that, and Bristol's one of the best tracks.
Yeah, they definitely brought the crowds with the Bristol Dirt event at Bristol, but I think they should change the schedule around where it isn't where it's gonna rain every spring. But I'll die on that hill, and I'll bring that back up a different day. This is about Atlanta. We're supposed to be talking about Atlanta, so we'll go ahead and keep it on that schedule. You pretty much summed up the top 5, 2 Trackhouse cars in the top 5, along with Corey LaJoie. That's fantastic. That's obviously what the Super Speedway racing is for. Let's go ahead and rate the race, and then we'll quickly go over our fantasy points, and we'll get up out of here. We're trying to get these videos as concise as possible for you guys, because I'm sure you guys are tired of seeing us talk for 30 minutes. So we're trying to make it as short as possible for you guys. So, rating the race, man, I don't know. It was a really good race. I'm going to have to give it a 9 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 9, like an A-, like almost not quite an A or an A+. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was a really good race. The pack weight racing was intense. They only got single file for a little bit. Most of the time it was side by side for 2 grooves. You could slingshot. The car in second place could get a big run and pass the car in front of it and come right back up in line. The finish was exciting. There were a decent amount of wrecks. I don't think I could have asked for much more than that. So I'm going to go ahead and give the race a 9 out of 10. So Matthew, what are you going to go ahead and rate this race?
I will give this race an 8.5 out of 10. My only complaint is the race was a little too long. I think they need to condense it, but other than that, it exceeded my expectations. I loved what I saw. It was literally a super speedway on 1.5 miles. So I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going back to Atlanta too, and it will be a 400-mile race the next time I go there. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to say something wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So hopefully, if they go back to Atlanta and it's a 400-mile race in the summer, then that'll be good for next year if they go back to Atlanta twice and they do 400 miles for each race. So hopefully they consider that. But yeah, great race overall. You actually won fantasy this week somehow. I don't know how. You had like Michael McDowell, Bubba Wallace. You had like all the super speedway guys in your lineup, and it actually worked for you. So congrats to you for getting the most points.
Well, I knew it was going to be an absolute wreck fest.
Yeah, and it was. There were a lot of big names taken out of the wrecks. I went with more Fords in my lineup, and that kind of worked. Not really. But yeah, I only have a 9-point lead now heading into Dakota, so that'll be fun to see how the fantasy keeps going throughout the year. It's really tight. So do you have any other closing thoughts before we go ahead and wrap this episode up?
Well, I guess just one more thing quickly. I guess the only other bad part was, once again, the terrible Fox coverage, but what else was new? But, it was really annoying when they were showing Chase Elliott fans every 5 seconds instead of showing what's going on in the lead. But other than that, it was typical Fox coverage. Terrible. I can't wait for NBC. But, yeah.
Cool. Alright. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap this video up. We hope you all enjoyed it. Let us know what you think about the Atlanta Super Speedway race. Whether you enjoyed it, didn't like it, think there should be more or less of these type of racetracks on the schedule, what type of racetrack in general you think you should be on the schedule. Let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. COTA is next week. Very excited for that. Our predictions video will be out later in the week for COTA. But until next time, we will see you guys in our next video.